expanding on what you're saying, printing up a nice flyer, using your flyer, printing up Prison Planet articles, Global Research articles, whatever. There's a lot of good boil downs out there. Our story about FEMA, the flu, FEMA, martial law, mass graves, that has a nice boil down of facts. People are really interested in the flu right now. They instinctively know something's wrong, something doesn't add up. They are begging for this information. Go to Kinko's or FedExO's or whatever it's called now, and for $100 you could print up 5,000 one or two sheets. For $20 you can print up thousands. Get it out to people, and that's a child, a woman, a man that isn't going to be getting that onset of Parkinson's at 25, that onset of these brain disorders, people getting Alzheimer's at 40 now, all tied to the vaccines. Go ahead.
Yeah, and dementia and all, because that's really what's happening. We light up the immune systems in the brain, and it causes them to deteriorate. And that's why we're seeing so many young people now with ADD, ADHD, all the adults with ADHD, all the things that we can label them with so that we can give them more psychotropic drugs like Effexor and Paxil and all of these things. I think that, I've said for years, Alex, that I think that the vaccine industry is really the economic loss leader of the entire pharmaceutical industry. It's, it's the idea that of a loss leader is come into my store, I'll give you a free T-shirt, and oh, by the way, while you're here, spend a couple $100. So the economic loss leader of being vaccines is, I'll give you this shot. It doesn't really cost me a whole lot of money, even though it is a $10 billion a year industry, but that's a pittance compared to other things. I'll give you the shot under the umbrella of keeping you healthy. We got to keep these kids from getting sick. And oh, by the way, I'll make hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars on all the drugs I need to sell you down the line after you're sick from what we've given you through these shots.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They make them approve other drugs. Even if they approve something bad down the road, the truth comes out. Vaccines are not held to the same standard. They can kill whoever they want, hurt whoever they want, because it's proprietary and very secretive what's really in it. It's the perfect cover for the soft kill. It's the perfect cover for the sterilization. The UN's been caught, as you know, adding the female hormone to the tetanus shot that then sterilized the women, only in a program for women. It was pushed as feminism. Oh, we're only helping women, and because that weapon wouldn't have hurt a man. It was designed for a woman. I mean, this is diabolical, and the way they want to set the precedent to put in our body what they want when they want. You know about all these new live viral vaccines that are really live action genetic engineer operations. I've had top genetic engineers on with the, quote, vaccine that cures you from cocaine or nicotine or heroin addiction. And it's a live virus that goes in and attacks the receptors in the brain, creating plaques so you can't absorb the drug, which also then blocks your endorphins. But don't worry, they've got a drug to then treat that. Can you speak to those classes of things called vaccines that are really nanobot, genetically engineered viral weapons?
Yeah, they are. That's really, you summed it up really well, Alex. And they are DNA vaccines that are coming down the pike, and now they're talking about edible vaccines, that there's vaccines that are going to be in potatoes and carrots. There's a vaccine that they have considered doing in Africa that is spread by mosquitoes. I mean,
that's Bill Gates.
It gets more like a grade B sci-fi movie all the time. And it would be really kind of funny if it wasn't so diabolical.
Well, that's Bill Gates, the eugenicist, who now they've total given over $100 billion. I was saying 80-something billion. It's gone up. Him and Warren Buffett, they're all supporting Planned Parenthood. Bill Gates' daddy runs Planned Parenthood. They're openly, and he's like, I want to release mosquitoes to give you an HIV cure. And I mean, my God, doctor, this is pretty obvious what's going on.
You would think that by now, Alex, from everything that people have been saying, that there would be nobody left who would believe that vaccines are safe, they protect you, they're harmless, and they're good for you. But we've got multi-generational, 200 years of multi-generational indoctrination that people really believe that vaccines are good. They really will keep me from getting sick. And the FDA and the government wouldn't ever approve anything that might harm me. And so the undoing that in people's psyche is taking a long, long time. But I think that pretty soon we're going to reach the 100th monkey here. I really do. And I think that there's going to be a 100th monkey phenomenon when all of a sudden everybody's going to go, holy cow. And they're all going to wake up at the same time. And honestly, Alex, I think that's what the government's most fearful of. Because of radio, because of the Internet, because of webinars, because of all of these technologies that we have an exponential waking up curve that's happening unlike anything that you and I have seen in the last 5 to 7 years. It's happening really fast. And so there's this race to the finish line of like, holy cow, we can't control all those people. We can't keep them in the dark if suddenly they're all awake. We have to suddenly ramp up the 400-year pathway that they've had in terms of taking over the world, and we have to do it really quick, because if we don't do it soon, there's going to be so many people awake that are going to revolt that we're not going to be able to be successful, which is what I'm hoping will happen. They won't be successful.
Dr. Sherri Tenpenny, you just hit it out of the park right there. You just said it all. They are behind schedule. People are waking up. They clearly have accelerated every program. The gun grabbing, the carbon tax, the banking takeover, the open borders, the wars. I mean, they are...
in a panic. In a bit of a panic.
Well, my dad did exterminating in college to raise money, and he'd go into the bad part of town to kill roaches. And he said it's true. When you spray roaches with poison, they start fornicating. And that's kind of what the elites are doing. They realize that they're losing, and so they're just going wild. They are really trying to take over right now. Final segment with our guest. Her website's on screen. Stay with us.